Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Jonathan Oxenberg. I just want to apologize about the quality of the video because my laptop is pretty old now anyway. So I just wanted to make I'm not that much of a public guy or just pretty much keep to myself. I don't know if you know me well or not or whatever. But there's a very disturbing thing that I'm watching that I've been learning about cops in America, about the police force in the civil police force here in the United States. I think that it's kind of amazing, or kind of should I say amazing, kind of strange, and how difficult it is for new cops to get into the force and then being pretty much vilified that if you join the police force you're going to do this to me, you're going to do that to my neighbor, and blah blah blah, blah, which is stuff that are pretty much antagonistic and negative um, things about cops in America. And let me tell you something that something. I mean, I'm not a social scientist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a expert. I just a witness of life, of the way I see life, and then I can tell it to you guys. Being a cop in America, which I thought of becoming one when I was young, but I had some physical implications in doing so because being myself born in Colombia from a cop family. Yes, my grandfather was a cop in Colombia, and also my uncle. And I do have to believe that if I see and if I respect the law and the law of other lands, and this one especially is because of them, because they really give me the right DNA to follow the law, no matter if you country turn communist, you're going to be the cop for the communist nation. If you turn socialist nation, you're going to be part of cop. So it's kind of a, you are pretty much within between. And I'm saying this because I mean it was like 100 years ago that the Bolshevik Republic or the Bolsheviks, and they knocked out the Tsars of Russia and all that, and cops were involved in that because hey, we're going to put order here and we're going to put order here. So becoming a cop is pretty much what would be a fundamental neutral party on which the law will be enforced and you should be protected. But unfortunately, that kind of a theme has disappeared for the last couple years or for the last couple decades. Ever since back in the early 90s, we saw the beating of Rodney King, and then this became part of a conversation on which what really makes a good cop, what makes a bad cop. Okay, so let me clarify to you, I've never been arrested. I'm not going to be biased either against them or for them or whatever, but there are very good cops out there, and I have been in some situations in which I needed assistance with my vehicle, and not a problem with them. Unfortunately, just like some of those institutions, like the ecclesiastical institution, like the church, they have pedophiles. They cover themselves not only with those habitual, but they cover their deed pretty well. And you may have a EMT ambulance guy maybe stealing a something from you. And again, I mean, there's bad apples in those institutions that we have a tendency to trust and to venerate. But I think that I have come to a conclusion, and I have to say that YouTube is a very good channel to learn things. I mean, not only about culture, but what makes people angry, what makes the people wearing the blue uniform maybe to react or to, I mean, whatever. I came to a conclusion that this is much more a not cultural thing. It's pretty much the way you were raised, and maybe the standard that a cop should be in America. Just like if you join the military, which I try myself to, and again I stumble on that one too. The military has a strict code of honor and discipline and traditions. And when you look at the country that our country, from Puerto Rico, Alaska, Hawaii, and all its possessions, you have so many jurisdictions, and with those jurisdictions there comes the different legislatures, from, I mean, states, from Florida laws are, different from New York, and cops will act differently in those states when it comes to an arrest, either alcohol or drugs, or maybe roughening up a homeless guy who doesn't even know he's homeless, or who has mental issues, which I do have to believe that there are people that I mean, I'm not going to be very rude about it when it comes to the homeless issue. People choose to be homeless in America because they like that style, and there would be maybe a cop that was born in another state or he was raised in another manner. The fabric of his thinking is, okay, if you do drugs, I'm going to beat you up. Or so we need to bring into a conversation that if you're going to be cop in America, maybe we should institutionalize some type of a standard, just like the military does. Now, not only that, when we talk about the military and mixing the cop situation, that the cops need military gear, in which here in West Palm Beach, I have seen some examples on which I have seen what it looks like a Bradley tank vehicle, but I don't know what it was, but it was huge. Um, Rookie cops, I can understand that someone young wants to be a cop, wants to protect the community, but it all comes down that all these beatings, all this violence that we have seen throughout the nation, and I would say maybe the last 20 years. I mean, and again, I could be missing something. There could be a gap or something. Rookie cops tend to react, overreact, and I'm very unfortunately, I have to say, I mean, I have come to this conclusion: there are racist cops, and the racist cop will be the one that will overreact, will go to you know, um, African American neighborhood, prominent, or maybe Latino or whatever that is, and he will go there, but in someone, I mean, if a cop is racist, he will say to either himself or herself, I'm a racist. And again, this is coming from, that would be the rookie thinking. So if he or she is assigned to that area, maybe you should exclude yourself because you already have a very biased um, denomination of if you're going to arrest a black man, even before you know it. I mean, you could be in patrol, and again, you don't have to be assigned to that area. The first thing the karma that is gonna happen. Okay, if I'm a racist cop, I'm in midnight and I see a failed taillight in a car, and sometimes you have to think, maybe this is a 10-year-old car, this is could be owned by an African American coming out of church, could be a civil servant, and yeah, okay, let's say I'm a 25-year-old racist cop, and I'm gonna call for backup because I'm in the middle of nowhere. The street lights are not on. Guess what? I'm gonna call for backup. Okay, backup. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, even if this is the first street that, as a cop, you're gonna pull in someone, gonna pull over someone, and then the other cop will come in and then hands on the gun, and yeah, the approach. This is hypothetical, okay. And then you would approach that guy, that African American, he or she, with a broken taillight, which, okay, might be an infraction, something that need to be looked over, and all that power that you have best on happens to be that the driver, maybe the local garbage collector, maybe a public civil servant, or he's a pastor. So the point that I want to share to you guys is that there are cops that are bringing their ignorance into the workplace, into the site of arrest, when in fact I don't really think that it doesn't take that much. If you become a cop, if you're gonna be going to patrol an inner city, and if you're not racist, what does it take for you to come out of a vehicle, introduce yourself? You do that every day, people will like you. But, and again, we have so many jurisdictions, so many counties. Municipalities have their own police force. It's not like pretty much in Colombia, and again, when I was born, which actually, in order to become a cop, you have to come from the military, which is back in those days. I don't know what now or whatever. But, again, not all cops are bad. I mean, and we now live in an age on which the media tends to amplify stuff or exaggerate so many issues about cops in America that there's now this domino effect that takes place in the media, and yes, I've seen it in YouTube. You know, cops now wearing the body cam, which that was long due for a long time. You know, still by they pull over people and they just want to fight not the cop, they want to fight the legislature, they want to fight. Damn it! It's not about cops. It's the laws, and sometimes we as citizens of this country, we need to understand that yes, we do have too many laws. Okay, we elected those people that coming up too many laws, like, well, maybe loitering or maybe the management of a homeless guy. That's one point that I want to point out there. Here in West Palm Beach, we do have a lot of homeless, and that number is still growing because I've seen them every day on my way to my office. When I go to downtown West Palm Beach, there are a lot of drug issues. So I do believe that when I'm saying that we have to come up with a standard to be a cop, you know, that cop needs to be socially connected with the people that are left behind by their families, by the system, by the government, or whatever. Instead, most of the people, the interactions that I have seen on YouTube, and again, I could be wrong, you can correct me on that, you know, if there's a 50% interaction that everything goes wrong, it's going to be an arrest, and that's it, you know. So my point is, maybe the cops also in that national standard that I'm talking about should be something about sociology, on which what makes this person to be homeless, is sleeping on the parks, half naked or whatever. Now that comes pretty much part of a conversation also that is cuckoo, and I don't mean to say that all homeless people are, are mentally ill. I know that our society is so big that the people go through a lot. They go through foreclosure, they lose the house, they blah 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 blah. People do maybe want to beat the system, food stamps or whatever, blah blah blah. But situation is, the legislature puts a lot of strains on cops to deal with homeless, to deal with the drug addicts. You know, when they arrest a drug addict, I don't really think that, I don't know what worst case scenario would be that a drug addict should go to jail, to prison, but the situation is when a cop arrests a drug addict, which most likely, 99% it'll go to jail for, because the cop will find possession. But there's the other matter that that drug addicts do make part of a health situation. So how you look at it? The person is sick. Are you going to arrest because that person is sick? Once again, I'm coming up with a situation in which a cop needs to understand that this guy or this girl is sick. Part of becoming a cop, how he can manage. Okay, instead of going to jail, maybe some of the stuff that takes place in Latin America, I don't know, like in Colombia, if a teenager is a drug addict, possession. Back in those days, I learned that you will go, well, you will be maybe arrested or whatever, but you will be either mandated, or the good parent will send the kid to psychiatrist, not a psychologist, psychiatrist, because the human mind on drugs is not trouble; it's already fucked up. Here in America, is the harshest. Which, and again, I'm not against it, but, and this is what I'm talking about, the various difficult, very numerous, excuse me, jurisdiction, because laws are different. So, in order to tackle police brutality, because these come into one end, okay, the cop is will arrest the drug addict for drug addict. The drug addict is gonna it's going to react, it's going to beat the cop, and I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to, okay. The cop are to realize that a mind on drugs is a mind fucked up. I do believe that a person should be on drugs, should be maybe not arrested, or should be taken to a mental hospital. Simple as that. But guess what? There are no laws that maybe, I don't know, I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer or whatever, that cop will react, you'll take the person to jail, and then the drug addict in the police car is going to overreact, he's going to be kicking, and then that's when the cop is going to come and beat you and is going to tase you, which they have all the right to do. But what other choice he or she has in the uniform to subdue the person? That's when the question comes: police brutality. Yeah, because the guy was in handcuffs, and yeah, kicking. The police officer doesn't have any choice, and that's when we have all this media that amplifies things. A person that has been subdued with the handcuffs and then tased. But you know what I'm saying? I do believe that people started to get very nasty about cops, and it shouldn't be that way. I know that there are bad apples out there. This thing that we learned about a couple hours ago. Some cop roughed up a nurse in Colorado because she refused to draw blood from a patient, which the patient was not even under arrest. So I don't know what's going on, but it seems to me that there's now a domino effect. The way people think about cops in America. I think that we have created that cradle for hatred, and it started with Rodney King in L.A. I remember very well. I mean, but the guy, he was on drugs. He shouldn't be beaten out. He shouldn't be subdued. He should be taken to a mental hospital. And yeah, after the trials, the lawsuit, the guy keep acting like crazy. I mean, so hello. Doesn't take an arrest to cure drug habits. That's what I'm saying, okay? But the problem is that when a police officer arrests a guy on drugs, the guy on drugs is going to act funny, uncommonly human, violent. He might laugh. Or guess what? No matter how contained he or she is, will still be a danger. Spitting on the officer. That's it. Okay. That's another story. Okay. And what I need to also simplify here, when police get the military gear that the Defense Department, they have this surplus, and this has become an issue in the inner cities when there is a riot. First of all, I don't. My opinion about that is very split. Police officer deserves all guaranteed self-defense taxpayer can offer, gun, taser gun, bulletproof vest. And situation is, a lot of people don't understand that when there's a riot, I mean, you just don't, as a police officer, if you have a riot on which you have both sides, you have, no, not both sides, you have people already doing mayhem. Okay. First of all, if I were a police officer, the assessment would be: there's a riot. It started with a group of people. I mean, non-violent protest, the violent protest, and yeah, they meet and they collide, and then they start getting violent. So that's like Donald Trump said about the Charlottesville situation: hatred from both sides. Okay, that's when you bring the big Kahuna trucks. Now, you don't drive. Okay, you can have the riot gear or whatever you need to have to protect yourself. I mean, you do not going to be pulling over in front of the riot in a Crown Victoria vehicle. No, that's where the conversation begins. They will come in a vehicle that was used by the military, and it's scary. There are a lot of issues about this thing. Yeah, you have a truck fully demilitarized. There's no machine guns, no nothing. The machine guns are the ones that are being carried by the police officers or whatever. But it is seen like the police officers are cutting out themselves by being in that truck from the community. That's not so. They need to protect themselves because trucks, Molotov bombs will be thrown at them, because you have both sides. You have you have the right side, which is a non-violent protest. Might be also police violence related, and then you have the violence, the people that come from other states to make trouble. It has happened all over again. So when you have the people from the left side that comes from other states, these are anarchists. When you have anarchist at the other side of the street, that's when you have to bring the Kahuna trucks and make the police presence very strong, although very insulting for other people. I can understand that. People that also that have immigrated from Europe, that have survived World War One or no World War Two, they may have the memory of police state, like when the panzers will roam across every single little country. The Nazis say, "Ah, I brought the tank." It's only me the same. That's the opinion of a lot of even people that I have talked to from Eastern Europe. When they see that kind of crap, and they're not racist, they can understand the imposition, the position of a truck, military truck, on which are not going to allow a riot to progress if it already started, but they can ram people. It may have happened in America, but I don't know. We haven't heard a lawsuit. So you need to understand that police officers sometimes they have that insecurity, and I mean, and again, I'm saying this. There's a lot of rookie police officers that before you wear a uniform, you need to understand that you're gonna be facing social issues, not criminal. Let's let the criminal on the side, okay? Criminal, bank assault, rape, anything with related with blood, okay, criminal. But no, that's what I'm saying. Police officers are now pressured into deal with social issues, going into neighborhoods with social issues. People in the Latino community, now we have this rhetoric that they have to enforce immigration law, on which this is something that I really disagree with. A jurisdiction far apart from the federal jurisdiction doing the job that the feds are supposed to be tackling in. It's just amazing. No, I shouldn't say amazing. It's very depressing how much pressure our police officers are facing right now, okay? Especially the rookies, because I would like to see that standard to become a cop. Either you has to be maybe a one simple test, like let's say if you becoming a stockbroker, you have to pass the Series 7 test, and then that's a national thing. It's just to set like some kind of a threshold of knowledge before you wear the uniform. And again, police officers need to understand that when they venture into these areas, Latino areas, inner cities, the only thing they think about, I'm going to defend my life no matter what, because that guy is he couldn't even do the finger, but he said, oh no, he's pointing something at me. That's it. Hello, you're supposed to protect, defend, and protect. But now it's much more about the one word. I'm going to protect myself no matter what. And maybe you could be wrong. Maybe I said, okay, it's because of the pay. Okay, maybe it's a good position. But I'm just want to tell you something. I don't like the way people are treating police officers in this age. And for the record, this age is the September 2nd, 2017. So we still have not learned so many lessons or maybe if you were taught a lesson in a school, elementary school, the type of respect that you owe a police officer. The police officer will like you and all that. So the only reason that I'm making this video is because I'm just sick and tired of people defying police orders. I go to YouTube. Sometimes and again there would be police officer maybe stopping someone big because the police officer doesn't like that person at all. So, but those are very few bad apples out there. The media now these days, they tend to bring everything. And one other thing that I need to clarify also, that police officers don't like to be filmed when they're making an arrest because they are unsecure of themselves. Even they have a body cam. I ask myself, okay, if I'm arresting someone who did something very bad, okay, I don't need to be unsecure that I'm I'm doing my job as I sworn to protect the law. You need to understand that there's a lot of police officers don't like to be filmed. No, no, not a lot. There's some police officers don't like to be filmed because they're insecure. And even though they have the body cam, so there will be another person filming them, which is illegal in some states, or I don't know, in some jurisdictions. That guy is going to be agitated because why he's filming me? I'm filming something, and that will be something that will come, thinking that will come from a rookie police officer. Okay, so the the, the reason that I'm making this video is because I do believe that first of all, I want to. I was born on September 11. My birthday is coming too, and I was born in Colombia, and I was born in a borough in a district called La America, which I don't know. I was bound to come here and be born on September 11. First of all, I would like to express my deepest sentiment, my deepest. I would like to say thank you for being on September 11 to all those souls in uniform, EMT. It was a horrific day for me, and again for being my birthday. But at the same time, it kind of values the fact that I come from a police family, and maybe may have not reflect how what was the good contribution they did in Colombia, and it's still a very lawless country. So I do have to say that I do came from a very good family. But I do have to say that a lot of people now this day they don't look September 11. The people that really did something very good job, police officers. Now we started to see this thing of YouTube. The cops. They don't. People don't want to. Don't want to. They. I mean, if you hate the IRS, you hate cops. I mean, that's my my analogy about this. So and again, just the reason again for this video is because I would like to bring into awareness that maybe we have too many jurisdictions. We have very variants on how to train a cop, and maybe we should bring a standard. Like if you go into war in the military, you do have that background on training again. But even furthermore, when and I have talked to a lot of people in the military, and I talked to this guy. He went to Afghanistan, and he's from California. He's from upper, I don't know. He's from the suburb. He grew up in $500,000 home. He goes and said to me, Jonathan, it's kind of interesting. I went to Afghanistan, and I went to other countries, and I have never. And he tells me with tears, he never had seen poverty, and he felt very compelled in bringing candies, and then he tells me, oh, these police officers, they go to the inner cities, they all start beating people. I mean, and he makes kind of a sense, that yeah, that cop is jumping in from his house to another neighborhood. Yeah, because he can care about the other neighborhood, the neighborhood that he's patrolling. He just wants to protect himself. If not, he's going to make an arrest. That was the point that my friend in Afghanistan had to go through. Hello, that's a good karma. And then he went up. I mean, being a military, handing out candy, and he was like there, So I like that experience, that conversation. I have to cut up with him, and that's why I started to think we have to set up a standard. I mean, and again, I'm not saying we retrain the cops and all that, and it's just that hatred that is just being put into these people. I mean, they want to do a job, and again, they want you to follow the law. I know that we live in a country which is very diversified in laws, yeah? And again, we have so many counties. Look what is happening now in Texas. I mean, we have this police officer who drowned trying to save somebody. He went above and beyond, and his story is not very resonating in the media. And Donald Trump, which I did happen to vote for him, didn't mention his name. I don't know anything about it, but I just part of that thing that happened. That's what compels me to come out and come to this conclusion. Please don't judge a cop um, they have too much. They're, it's too much pressure they have to go through, and then you have now these 24/7 media um, replicating. No, not replicating. I mean, yeah, distribution of police brutality, and then this goes to the neighborhoods that are supposed to be asking for cops. The inner cities, the Latino cities, or the Latino boroughs, they just don't want them there. And guess what? Yeah, I mean, if the police force abandons that community, there people are going to start killing each other. Well, what I'm saying, okay, they're going to come the drug dealers to take over and say, okay, I'm the big, I mean, I'm the law. Just like what is happening in Mexico. Cops are retreating in Mexico from their duties. I'm hearing stories that they just will take a bribe in Mexico. Yeah, they will take a bribe from a mafioso guy. Hey, listen, don't become a cop. Either you take the money, you leave, or you take lead the bullet. Okay, that's it. That's what the hatred towards cops are going to make the streets unsafe where we need them the most. Okay. One other thing is that yeah, we do have a very socially very society. Like for example, I mean, the cops in Palm Beach, 33480, which is a few blocks away, and again, that's I'm pretty much 4 blocks away from Donald Trump's winter stay in Mar-a-Lago. I know Palm Beach, and I know the cops at Palm Beach. And they're very professional. They're very nice people. In fact, when I was a kid, we had car problems. My mom had a coffee maker on wheels, and they were super with us. You know, that was back in 1985, 86. And then you have cops in that that would be the inner city cops, or the people that would be in a prominently black neighborhood. And if you were to compare the equipment or the car, okay, the Palm Beach car is a white and blue, LED lights, computer systems. They got wow. Then you compare the cops in the inner city. Oh, maybe the is maybe half equipped than if you were to compare to the Palm Beach cop or cops or the Beverly Hills cops. So I'm not trying to draw a comparison very unfairly, but situation is this is, as a taxpayer, you get what you pay for. But it's not necessarily that you're gonna get a bad cop in an inner city. My point is, that's why we should set up a standard at the national level to make cops equal, same thinking, being cooperate with each other. Maybe there should be a police force sharing between cops in Palm Beach, police department. They can do community work in the inner cities, you know, telling those cops what they do, which of course people in Palm Beach, they do cocaine, but they just do it over inside doors. But we don't know the whole story. But that's what I'm trying to say. Um, um, just if you're moving from another jurisdiction to another jurisdiction when it comes carrying guns, or if you want to do pot, or if you want to do this and that, or just make yourself knowledgeable about the local laws, you know, because yeah, when you jump from one county to another county, it's another different story when it comes to ordinance, when it comes loitering, or when it comes curfew time. And yeah, once again, the cops have to take the burden, you know, on which our legislature, you know, they make the laws. So with this enough said, you know, I just wanted to make my voice, you know, about what is going on. I mean, the brutality that is taking place between cops and civilians. Civilians now want a copless society, which is not going to happen. You're just going to have to be in touch with your legislature when it comes laws, when it comes this and that. You know, the power of vote is right there with you. But when it comes, okay, you can criticize a cop all you want. Okay, do it indoors. You can do it on video. You can do whatever you want. Okay, you can put a sign. Okay, but don't fight the cops. No. You will always lose. you're gonna lose your freedom for a few hours maybe, but you're gonna lose money to the attorneys. You're gonna lose, and I think that you're gonna lose your confidence in yourself because if okay, let's say you beat up a cop, okay, and then you're a drug addict or maybe you're an alcoholic, or you're most likely going to do it again because guess what? That comfort zone. I mean, and that's what happened. People don't like cops. They fight cops because they feel in a comfort zone, on which they don't have respect of the law. They believe in anarchy too. And when it comes to the drug addicts getting arrested, they have a mental issue. I do believe that if a cop, if I were the governor, I will. I mean, I know that this might sound a little bit, ridiculous. I mean, I would sign a law if you're a drug addict, you should go to a mental hospital because your mind is already fucked up. And yeah, you probably assaulted police officer. Okay, go to jail too, or whatever. So I just wanted to share my thoughts with you about this one. And yeah, I just saw a video of a very pretty woman. She was like a brat kid, from rich neighborhood, being pulled over for a speeding infraction. And then all I see that the police officer, very professional, he had a body cam, and step by step he find out that she had an arrest warrant, and because she didn't pay a speeding ticket, so, and she started being very, very nasty about it. So sometimes and this keeps happening. So I do have to believe that YouTube is a good channel for us. It has been for me to make me aware, that how proud I am that I came from a police family, and especially from Colombia, from cocaine land, which I don't even haven't go back there anyway. But it's very interesting. The way cops are treated, especially in New York City. This Mr. De Blasio doesn't care about them. So that's another story. Maybe I'm gonna have to dig in a little bit how even politicians, they treat their own cops, the people they hire, they write a check on, whatever. So please send me a comment or thumbs up or thumbs down. I just needed to let it out because it's going to be a long week and I'm not going to be doing anything other than, let's see, having my Tabasco. And there you go. Where did it go? Just had a beer, but I lost it. So good to talk to you guys. Take care. Bye bye.